All right. So you snag that promotion assistant interview. Congrats. We're going to help you absolutely crush it. Because having a killer resume and knowing your stuff is one thing, but interviews, those are a whole other beast, aren't they?
Yeah, totally. It's like you've got the talent,
Yeah,
but you need the right coach in your corner to really shine when it's game time.
it's true. And lucky for you, that's what this deep dive is all about. We've got our hands on RoleCatcher's resources for this role, and let me tell you, their career guide and interview guide are like gold mines. We're talking common questions, they ask smart strategies to use, and even some insider tips to help you stand out from the crowd.
Think of it like we're your pregame pep talk, but instead of just getting you pumped up, we're giving you actionable advice you can use right now.
I like it. Okay, let's jump right in with a question they almost always ask right off the bat. Tell us about your experience working in promotions. Now, on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, but I bet there's more to it, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're not just looking for a play-by-play of every job you've ever had. They want to hear your passion. How you talk about your experiences is just as important as the experiences themselves.
So even if someone's coming from a different field,
Yeah,
they can still totally rock this question.
totally. Let's say you organized events in college, or maybe you managed a team at your last job. Maybe it was at a restaurant or a store. Those experiences, even if they're not specifically promotions, still show that you've got valuable transferable skills.
Mm.
The interview guide actually has some great sample responses that highlight things like organization communication, even that knack for getting people excited, all those things that are super crucial for a promotion assistant.
Yeah, it's like they always say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But in this case, it's more like, it's not just what you did, it's how you sell what you did.
You nailed it. And be ready for a follow-up question like, give us an example of a time your organizational skills really made a difference. They don't just want a general statement, they want a specific story.
All right, because stories are what people remember. All right, next question. How do you stay up to date on the latest trends in promotional strategies and technology? What's the strategy here? Do they want to make sure you're not stuck in the past with outdated ideas?
Pretty much, it's about showing them that you're proactive, that you're genuinely interested in this world and not just looking for any old job. This is where the career guide's emphasis on continuous learning is super relevant.
Okay, so instead of just saying something generic like, oh, I Google stuff, what are some more concrete things someone could mention?
Mentioning industry publications is always a good move. You could say, I subscribe to Name a Relevant Trade magazine, and I always find their articles on specific trend to be super insightful. Or you could talk about following influential marketing blogs or podcasts, even specific thought leaders on LinkedIn.
It's like you're sending a signal saying, hey, I'm already plugged into this world. I'm just looking for the right team to join.
Exactly. And don't forget about professional development. Mentioning webinars you've attended or even free online courses you've taken, those show you're actively investing in your skills.
Love it. Okay, next one. How do you measure the success of a promotional campaign? This one feels kind of like a trap. Like if I just say lots of likes on social media, I'm toast right.
You're right to be cautious. This is where you really get to showcase your strategic thinking. Anyone can say engagement, but it's about tying it back to concrete metrics. The interview guide really stresses KPIs. Think reach, leads generated, and ultimately how your work impacts the company's bottom line.
Which is what they really care about at the end of the day.
Exactly. And don't just rattle off a bunch of metrics. Mention the tools you use to actually track them, like Google Analytics or social media dashboards. Show them you're comfortable navigating the data side of things, too.
Right? It's like you're showing them you understand the why behind the what. Speaking of why, this next question is a bit more, well, philosophical. How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively? I feel like everyone thinks their system's the best, so what are they really listening for here?
They're looking for self-awareness and organization. Maybe you thrive on having super detailed to-do lists, or maybe you live by your color-coded Google Calendar. It's not so much about what the system is, it's that you have E1 and that you can articulate it clearly.
And this is where those transferable skills come in again, right?
Yeah.
Even if your last job wasn't in promotions, if you can talk about juggling a crazy schedule while still keeping everything on track, that says a lot.
Totally. They need someone who can handle the pressure of multiple deadlines and things changing at the drop of a hat without missing a beat. This question is your chance to prove you're that person. It's so true, though, right? You need someone who can handle the heat when things get crazy.
Absolutely. Okay, shifting gears a bit here to teamwork. How do you approach collaborating with other departments or teams on a promotion campaign? This one feels especially relevant for a promotion assistant role. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. And the career guide actually emphasizes that collaborative aspect of the role, how you're always working with different teams to really bring a campaign to life.
Okay, so how do you answer this without sounding like every other candidate who just says, oh, I'm a team player?
Give them a real example. Talk about a time you collaborated with maybe a design team or how you navigated conflicting feedback from different
Oh,
stakeholders.
and maybe even mention specific tools, like we use Slack for daily check-ins and Trello to keep track of everyone's tasks. That kind of paints a picture, right?
Totally. It shows them you're not just comfortable with collaboration, you understand how important clear communication is, and you've got strategies to make it happen.
I like it. All right, next question time for a big one. Can you give an example of a successful promotion campaign you worked on and what made it successful?
Ooh, story time. This is your time to shine. But don't just give them a summary of the campaign. They want to hear about your thought process. What were the challenges you faced, the decisions you made, and how did your contributions directly lead to that success?
Right, so even if it was a team effort, you really want to highlight your specific role and what made you stand out.
Exactly. This is your chance to let those skills and experience really shine. Did you come up with a super creative tagline? Negotiate a killer deal with a vendor.
Don't be afraid to toot your own horn a little bit. Humility is important, of course, but so is owning your accomplishments.
Totally agree. Now let's move on to a question that requires a bit more big picture thinking. How do you approach creating a promotion campaign strategy?
Okay, yeah, this one feels very big picture. They're not just asking about one tiny tactic. They want to know your whole approach. What are your thoughts?
You're spot on. They're looking for a structured and comprehensive understanding of that entire campaign lifecycle.
Okay, so where do you even begin with a question like that?
Think of it like a roadmap. You start with your destination right, the campaign objectives. Then you map out the route. That includes things like identifying your target audience, crafting really compelling messaging, selecting the right channels, and of course, measuring your results.
So it's like you're showing them you understand the whole journey, not just one pit stop along the way.
Exactly. And this is another awesome opportunity to weave in some of those insights from the career guide. Mention the importance of things like market research, competitor analysis, understanding your target audience, show them you're thinking about the big picture.
Okay, we're on a roll. Let's tackle this next question. How do you ensure that a promotion campaign is aligned with a company's brand and values? This one feels like they're really trying to see your judgment.
It's true. It's more than just coming up with flashy ideas. It's about showing them you get their brand's DNA and you can create campaigns that feel authentic and consistent.
So how do you convey that in an interview? Should you be like looking up the company's mission statement and like working that into your answer?
100%. Mentioning specific things about their brand that resonate with you shows you've done your homework. And talk about your process for making sure things stay on brand. Maybe you're super meticulous about following brand guidelines, or you have a knack for adapting your ideas to fit a specific tone and style.
Right. It's like that saying, it's not about fitting in, it's about belonging. You want your campaigns to really belong to that brand's identity.
Beautifully said. Okay, you ready for the next question? This one's all about data. How do you approach analyzing and reporting on the success of a promotion campaign?
Time to break out those spreadsheets.
Well, data analysis is key, of course, but it's not just about crunching numbers. It's about using those numbers to tell a story.
Ooh, okay. I love a good story. Tell me more.
The interview guide really highlights how important it is to turn data into something actionable. So yeah, you can mention tools you use like Google Analytics, but what's more important is how you find the meaning in those reports.
So instead of just saying, I look at graphs, you might say, by analyzing the click-through rates, I discovered that, and then share a specific insight you gained.
Exactly. They want to know you can not only collect the data, but also translate it into something everyone can understand, especially if you're presenting to people who aren't data experts.
Right, because data is only as good as your ability to actually communicate what it means.
Oh.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's one more secret weapon we haven't even talked about yet, RoleCatcher's AI.
It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
So tell me more about this secret weapon. How does RoleCatcher actually work?
Well, it's surprisingly easy to use, which is great. You know, when you're already stressed about interview prep, you can either type out your answers to these common questions, or even better, record yourself answering them.
Oh, okay. So you're basically like doing a mock interview, but with an AI audience instead of a real person.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really cool. RoleCatcher's AI analyzes your responses, but it doesn't just give you general feedback. It looks at it specifically through the lens of a promotion assistant role. So it's tailored to the exact skills and qualities that hiring managers are looking for in this field.
Wow. So it's like having a promotion assistant hiring expert giving you personalized feedback.
You got it. Like, it might suggest that you need to add more details about your experience with a certain software, or that you should really highlight your teamwork skills more. It might even suggest that you tweak your tone of voice to sound more confident or enthusiastic.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like having a cheat sheet for success, but one that's personalized just for you. That's amazing. And don't forget about that video practice feature. That's a game changer.
It really is. A lot of people I know, myself included, we hate seeing ourselves on camera, but practicing your answers and your body language in a situation where there's no pressure can make a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. And with RoleCatcher's AI analyzing your video too, you can get feedback on things you might not even realize you're doing, like your posture, your eye contact, even how fast you're talking.
It's true. It's like having your own personal coach giving you a play-by-play analysis of your performance. And the best part is you can try it out for free with a RoleCatcher account. There's no risk, really, just a lot of potential for improvement.
It's a no-brainer. All right, so to wrap things up, what are your top 3 tips for someone who's got a promotion assistant interview coming up?
Okay, well, first and foremost, preparation is key. We went over a bunch of questions today, but really take the time to plan out your answers, practice saying them out loud, and of course, use RoleCatcher to really get that extra edge.
Makes sense. What's number 2?
Don't underestimate the power of enthusiasm. This is a fast-paced and creative field, so they want someone who's truly excited to be there. Let your passion shine through.
Love it. Okay, last but not least, what's your final tip?
Be yourself. It's tempting to try to be the person you think they want you to be, but authenticity is so important. Just relax, be confident in your skills, and let your personality shine through.
Those are all fantastic tips. So to our listeners out there who've got that big interview coming up, we're rooting for you. You've got the knowledge, you've got the strategies, and now you know all about RoleCatcher. Go out there and knock them dead.
You got this.